Hi, and welcome to the mini lecture portion of this course, where I'm going to briefly introduce you to cardiac anatomy and physiology, where we'll go over some of the major blood vessels and the flow of blood through the heart, which creates the cardiac cycle, and ultimately what we refer to as the heart rate, and what we're familiar with. So I'm going to start here in the upper left-hand corner with this vein, and it is called the superior vena cava, and it brings blood back to the heart from the top half of the body. 1B down here is going to be the inferior vena cava, which brings blood back to the heart from the lower half of the body. A common misconception about veins is that they are deoxygenated. And why that is incorrect is because they do have some capacity of oxygen, but just far less than an artery would have. So we like to say less oxygenated. They bring blood to the top of the heart, which we're going to call the atria here, this top half, and the bottom half we're going to call ventricles. So because we are mirroring the patient's right side is going to be on this side. So this is going to be the right atria that is receiving less oxygenated blood from veins. It's going to pump through a valve called the tricuspid valve, and then it'll come into the ventricle. And this one is the right ventricle on the right side, number 3. The right ventricle is going to pump blood to an artery, taking blood away from the heart. This is one of the only arteries in the body that carries less oxygenated blood. So that's what number 4 is the pulmonary artery, which continues on to both lungs, which is why it branches. And then on number 5, we have the pulmonary vein, which is one of the very few veins that carry oxygenated blood or more oxygenated blood back to the heart. It's received in the left atria here, where it's going to get pumped through the mitral valve and then to the left ventricle. The left ventricle is the main ventricle of the heart that's going to pump blood through the aorta, which ultimately goes to the rest of the body. So the right side of the heart receives blood, and the left side of the heart is going to pump blood to the rest of the body through the ventricles. So we're going to go up through the aortic valve, which isn't seen here, but number 8, and then that's representing the aorta and the aortic arch here. And then the rest of it's not drawn, but because it branches to the rest of the body. So one heart cycle is going to take blood from the top, the lub, and push it to the bottom. The dub is going to push it from the ventricles, some to the lungs, and then some to the aorta. So you get the lub, dub, lub, dub. Some things that control the pace of the heart are the sinoatrial nodes, the atrial nodes. The top one, located above the right atrium, is called the sinoatrial node, which is about this location, and it is going to signal the atria to contract. There's a brief pause, and then another node here, the atrioventricular node, is going to tell the ventricles when to contract. There's a pause so they don't pump at the same time, and it allows for one chamber or one half of the heart to fill with blood and the other half to squeeze and push blood into it. So it's pretty neat how this works out. And this is, again, the cardiac cycle. So to review, we're going to receive blood in the right atrium, pump it to the right ventricle, which goes through the pulmonary artery to the lungs, receives through the pulmonary vein, which is oxygenated, to the left atria, and through the mitral valve to the left ventricle, which goes to the rest of the body. So typically we see the heart as 4 chambers and having the aorta out here, but in a real anatomical model, such as this one, Strangna model, it comes up actually and goes around. So then it can give branches of arteries to the limbs, such as the arms and the head. And then as it goes lower, it will give blood to the lower legs. So hope this was helpful for you, and look forward to continue learning with you.